Hello, hi, and welcome to this quick overview of how to create and edit buttons and assign receivers. You'll log into your administrative portal with your username password. And I want to show you one quick little thing. When you create a new group, we automatically, by default, create two buttons, the security and support buttons. And that just gives you a little step up. So I'm going to just demonstrate that real quick. Let's say I'm going to create a new group called Galway because I'd love to have an office in Galway. Boom, so we have a new Galway group, and you can add users in there. Again, if you are a member of that group, then you will get those buttons. So if I moved any of these individuals into that group, then you'll receive those buttons. I'm here on this unit right there, so I'm going to move myself into that group. And now let's look at what those buttons should look like. Here's a list of all your buttons by clicking the buttons tab. You could filter it, from the column header, or just as a clean way of looking at it, I'm going to just look for that group. Oh, there's a couple cities that started with G, but here we go, security and support. If we look down here, security and support, so they match up. I'm in the Galway group, so I get the Galway buttons. Now let me show you how you can create a button. And it's pretty much the same process as editing one. When you create a group, create a new button, it has a blank form, but if you edit a button, then you just simply change whatever is filled out there. So I click the little plus sign, and the little pencil sign is for edit, trash can for delete. But again, I click the plus sign, and let's say I want to make sure this goes into the Galway group. So from the drop down, I choose the group that I want. Now I want to name this button. This section right here where it says button name, that's for your reference to understand, of course, what the button refers to. But the title can certainly be the same thing, but the title must be short. It has to fit underneath the icon. So we set an 8-character limit, and medical fits under that. So that's why I'm going to keep this short. So if you have a long title, just try to keep it under 8 characters. For the button message, you can have anything you'd like, but again, I suggest keeping it short, especially if you're sending messages. Medical emergency. Here's where we could choose the icon. From the drop-down menu, you could choose anyone you'd like. I'm going to go with the medical bag. You have the option to mute the button if you'd like, so that it would be silent. The send delay gives you a pause, a time factor before it the message is sent, and I'll give a demonstration of that in just a second. 0 seconds naturally means it goes automatically. 5 seconds, well, you have 5 seconds to cancel or send, and I'll set it at 10 seconds. Severity level chooses the audible alarm sound about the type of noise alarm that it has. And here's where you could choose the hotkeys. You must choose at least two a modifier and then the actual hotkey. The modifier could be actually 3 keys, 2 keys, or a single key. And you could also use the F keys as well. So I chose Shift F7. Actually, I think that's a pretty common hotkey for other program, so I'll choose Control Alt F7, and that will be very difficult to hit by accident to prevent any false alarms. So I click that, and now we can see we have the new medical button. If you look down here, boom, we have the new medical button. That's how fast you can roll out new buttons for emerging threats. So if you have a new problem that came out you found out this morning, well, you can quickly deploy a new button specifically to that pending emergency. Now, in terms of choosing your receivers, you look over at this column on the far right, and there are 3 icons: a computer for the desktop pop-up alerts. And what I'm talking about there is these pop-ups that look like this. Yes, our development team is having a good time there. Yes, we do have very important emergencies here at ePanic button. And then the other icons represent the different messages, such as an envelope for emails, and the text message is used or is picked out by clicking on the little telephone. So again, for this medical button, I'm going to select this red icon. I select the computer icon to show you who gets the pop-up alerts. That's the desktop pop-up alerts. Everyone on the right is everyone in your organization that has the program installed. By the way, they do not have to be in the same network to get the pop-up alerts. That's a new feature with version 4.0. Anyone with an internet connection can get a pop-up alert from anybody else. You could use the filter tool if you have a lot of users to maybe look at their department or last name or their location, however they're organized that way. But you could just simply click whichever ones you want, move them over, and on the left-hand side are the actual receivers. So in this window, those are the folks who are getting the pop-up alert. On the right-hand side are people that are potential receivers, but they are not assigned to receive the pop-up. And you could just use the add and remove buttons to move them back and forth. Now, for the emails, it's even more simple. We'll select the little envelope tab, and by default, all admin users, the people who have an account to log into this system, everyone who's got a username, password, they are automatically assigned to be email receivers. You can certainly select them and delete them if you don't want them to be there. Or if you want to add someone else, you can click the pencil sign. And this is great for adding just, one email. But if you have a bunch of emails, if you have 10 or 20 email addresses, instead of adding them one at a time, just batch add them here. Just make sure you separate the email addresses with a comma or a semicolon, and then you can just batch add them over here. I'll give a little demonstration with our cell phone, with our text messages, which is the same format. I will open up the cell phone text SMS receivers, and again, you can add them individually or batch add them. And just as a little demo, we got an example here. I will copy that, paste it, and boom, we can add those 3 numbers. If you're in the United States, you don't need to add the 1 for the country code, but all other international accounts, please add your country code in for the cell phone text receivers. Well, that's essentially it. I hope you got the basics of how this all works. Let me go back to the Galway button. You can add with the plus sign. You can edit any of them. Just select it so the row is yellow, then click the pencil, and you can make any changes you need to see fit there. Or if you need to get rid of a button, if you decided that button is no longer necessary, just delete it and it'll be gone. So thank you so much. I hope that is clear, but if I could help you in any way, please call us, email us, submit a support ticket, and we could also do one of these desktop sharing things so we could help you practice using the program. Thank you so much for using the Panic, and I hope you all stay safe out there.